Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Mind Movements Win the Weekend. Here, welcoming you to Win the Weekend here. Mike here with Mind Movements. And yeah, just a couple of guidelines for class today. We will be moving from a grounded position to a bipedal position. Wednesdays, we tend to go over quadruped positions. And on Saturdays, we go over our natural position, which is our biped position. But of course, both of them being connected to what we're always connected to, the earth, right? So just a few things to have first. A yoga mat is great, about 6 to 10 square feet of space. And of course, some water for some breaks that we'll have in between. Um, I invite everyone to wear socks, depending on what your surface is. What it does provide is a layer of protection as well as a bit of a challenge for some that may have like a lacquered hardwood floor like myself here, right? Or even a linoleum of sorts, okay? We'll be moving from the mats to standing positions intermittently throughout the workouts. And yeah, just introducing some of our mind movement concepts as well. So just a little bit about mind movement before we start. We are a wellness-based organization where we use movement and psycho, psychological, well, let's just say there's psychological concepts where we employ mind and body, right? Now, the connection, of course, is always there, but we like to delineate and also find the connection between the two. So one place where you can find us actually is at www.mindmovement.com. That's www.myndmvmt.com. And today's session will be approximately 50 minutes, and we will start with a bit of breath work and just work ourselves into a grounded position. From that grounded position, moving ourselves into how to stand up properly and also how to strike and stretch effectively. Okay, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and position ourselves to the base of our mats with the tops of our feet in the position we call Seiza, which is a position I like to start in just because it allows us to be grounded, but also at the same time grow from the ground up. And here in Seiza, it's good to just settle in the feet into the ground, the heels towards the hips, and keep your posture as upright as you can, but at the same time still relax and sink into the earth. And here we'll breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. And rest the hands, top the thighs. Let's go ahead and go palms up, one hand in the other. Relax the facial muscles, the jaw, cheeks, the brow. Let that ease move throughout the entire body. Of course, relaxing the eyes, allow them to close. And here, just getting into our base of the month, our concept of presencing. And here we're presencing ourselves through our breathing. You're inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. I mentioned breath for presencing, as there's not that I can think of any more present activities we can go through consciously, unconsciously, than our breathing. You just allow the mind to wander a bit. Into a focus emptiness. Letting go of any past or even future thinking. Any thought disturbances. Any disturbances externally. We don't ignore them. We see them for what they are, the past or the future, and return back to presence with our breathing. Far too often, maybe we find ourselves stuck in the past, perhaps even anxious of the future. Now, breathing is a simple but significant tool to bring us back to the present. And allow us to remain in the present. Upon our own choosing, through our breath. Let's begin to expand the rib cages more. You're going to take the air deep into the lungs as well as the chest. In through the nose. And begin to force the air out by contracting the core. We can take in what nutrifies us, what fuels us through our breathing. And exhale what no longer serves us. Not placing any judgment on either. Because both are important to not just ourselves, but to those in the environment around us. Also likening this to even what we take into our brains, between our two ears. Take in what's good, what fuels us, what nourishes us, and exhale what doesn't serve us. Now we begin to regulate our breathing. Just begin to take in the space around us, the room, our immediate surroundings. And again, any noise, be it internally, externally, perhaps even a shift in temperature, a discomfort. We breathe our way through it with presence and power. Begin to open our eyes. Visually taking the surroundings around us as well. So begin to shift our weight from our feet to our hands. We're going to walk the hands forward, hands just beneath both shoulders. Let's lead and guide with the middle fingers pointing straight ahead and evenly splay each finger apart from the middle finger. Let's ground in into our tabletop position. All the while, let's try and keep the tops of the feet still based into the mat. I want to bring my hips just above my knees and my shoulders just above my wrists. And let's go for a bit of a rotation here and involve our breathing with that movement. So here I'm going to go clockwise in a circle. Now that circle is going to be an imaginary circle that I'm drawing with my nose, just ahead of and in between both of my hands. All the while trying to still maintain the presence of being evenly distributed between all four limbs. My knees are obviously on the ground, but more of an effort to push the tops of the feet to the mat. That's what I ask. Press into all four corners of the hands. You only have four, not five. But we do have 5 digits. Evenly splay those and ground in as well. As we inhale for one semicircle and exhale for another. And stretch the wrists, keep those arms nice and straight. Again, discover what these movements do for us physiologically. Keeping present, powerful and grounded. Stretch my wrists, keep my arms straight, shoulders engaged. Then we switch directions in the same circle that we're drawing with our nose, imaginary circle just ahead of and in between both of my hands, triangulated. Just a few more. Okay, now from here we'll stop and go back into that tabletop position. I'm going to flip my wrists, fingers facing forward to fingers facing backwards. I'm going to go one hand at a time, turn backwards and turn forward. Same hand, then I switch. Raise, turn, lower. Here I'm making sure that I'm meeting the base of the palms to one another. So my hands will be somewhat in this position, not in this position. Okay, the heels of the palms meet in that same lateral line. As we raise up, turn, raise up, turn. Same hand raises up and turns back to its original position. Inhale up and exhale lower once the palm is turned. Give yourself a slight bend in the elbow if you need to, if it's too much strain on the wrist. Inhale up, turn, exhale lower. And time. We're going to bring our hips back towards our heels. Bring the knees wide to that child's pose. Knees wide. Allow yourself to ground in. So I can even push with my hands, pushing my hips back towards my feet. And just let the hands slide forward or just walk the fingers forward. Let the chest rest in between the thighs. Walk those fingers forward, but try to keep the hips connected towards the heels. And no judgment if it doesn't. And we work into our bodies to create our own successes. So we can find success in any moment. Let's walk those fingers forward, elongate the spine. Relaxing the head, chest in between the arms and the legs. And time. Now from here, I want to bring the weight from the tops of my feet to my hands as I dive forward. I'm going to place the elbows down. I'm just diving downwards. I readjust my knees to where they're within hips width apart, my low plank, and I soar up for an up dog. Shoulders back, my gaze is forward, and hips are down towards the ground, allowing gravity to work the stretch. as well as our breaths. And from here, we push back, down dog. One foot over top the other, or one foot at a time. I go from the top of the foot to the balls of the feet. Let's lower those heels down towards the ground as we slightly bend our knees. Head in between the arms, which the arms are straight and in line with the spine. Wrap the heart with the armpits. Let's go ahead and pedal the feet. Heels up, heel is down. Up, down, up, down. So alternating left and right. Allow the calves to get a bit of a stretch as well as the Achilles, and not to mention the hamstring. Now, from here we return back to that down dog position. My gaze is wet at both of my feet. Here I'm going to dive through. When I dive through, I'm going to flip onto the tops of my feet, diving through. 1 foot, 2 feet. Press into the tops of the feet as I soar again back up for my up dog. Shoulders are back, my gaze is forward. Hips down towards the ground. And again, we push back. Down dog. Flip the feet one at a time, from the tops of the feet to the balls of the feet. Maybe give a little bit of time to allow a bit more of a challenge for each one. Slight bend in both knees, heels down towards the ground, head in between the arms. Again, we pedal those feet out. Stretch the Achilles, stretch the calves, stretch the hamstrings. Back to that down dog. This time we're going to dive through and stay on the balls of our feet for a modified up dog. So here we dive through, down at about a 45-degree angle, elbows don't touch the ground, shifting the weight from my feet to my hands. Balls of the feet still pressing to the ground. Feel free to adjust the feet. And really get into the toes, stretching the toes, pushing back, as well as up my hands, hips down, shoulders back, and I'm looking forward. Now from here, I'm going to come into a plank position, that high plank, and turn to my left. When I turn to my left, I'm keeping my hands equally distributed on the ground still. Inner left foot, outer right foot to the ground. Let's just allow the hips come down towards the ground for a bit of mobility. Small pulse, up, down, finding what my range is. And from here we switch. Rotate to the right, right inner foot to the ground, left outer foot to the ground. Again, trying to keep both hands equally distributing your weight. Hips up, hips down. Small stretch in that side body, obliques, outer hip. And let's come back to that high plank position. From here, I'm going to go ahead and push back. Again, down dog. Slight bend in both knees. I'm going to bend my knees even further and look forward. Here we're going to hop forward to our Budokan technique here of our floating frog. So the idea is to float best we can, but until we develop that arm and core strength, we'll do what version of it we can. So I invite everyone, just get a few in, right? I load both legs and both hop same time. I'm gonna give 3 different opportunities. Feel free to go at your own leisure. Just be careful that we're not hopping past the point and going over our own heads. So here, 1 and 2, and I float the frog. The float is in me keeping control in my arms and my core and allowing my feet to hit the ground with as little impact as I can. Here, I'm going to hop back into my high plank position. From there, I can measure a good down dog again. Slight bend in both knees. for my down dog. From here, I bend both knees even deeper. Now my gaze is forward at a point just ahead of both my hands. We'll try one more. 1, 2, and 3. You sink down to that low squat. Butts down towards the ground. So a lot of hips to relax, arms to relax. Arms still inside both legs. Nice, and we'll try one more. Okay, hands evenly met to the ground. Here again, I go into my high plank to my down dog. Bend both legs, gaze forward. Get 5 pumps. 2, gaze forward, gaze back. 2 more, and we float the frog. And go. Hands in between the thighs as well as the arms. I press my palms together, and here I begin to elongate my spine. Straighten my palms to one another. I'll change my position so you can see me better. Posture upright. Although we're in a bit of a contracted, compressed position here, still find that space in the lungs. Still find that base in the feet. If you feel that we're falling backwards, I'll take one hand, go behind just to adjust myself. Push yourself back into that position. Foot evenly met to the ground. Give ourselves 2 more breaths. Sing with power and presence through the earth as we begin to stand on our 2 feet as we were designed. Here I'm going to push in between both my thighs as I raise my hips up. My elbows are still in between my thighs, not resting on top, but an active stretching position. Shifting my weight from left to right. Try your best to keep the heels on the ground. So here again, we begin to open up the ankles a bit, Achilles, calf, side to side. Now from here, let's begin to shift the weight even further and raise the heel each time. Raising the heel off the ground. As my heel raises, what happens? My hips lower. All the while being present of our breathing. We need to come out and maybe take a bit of a rest. The official one will be coming shortly. Feel free to do so. Nice. Now from here, we're going to put our hands to the ground if we need to. We can heel toe ourselves to an upright position. Come to a standing position as best we can. Bring my feet parallel to one another, hips width apart. Let the head and arms hang heavy. Ragdoll. Head, arms hang heavy. Shift a little bit of the weight towards the front of the foot, less the heel. You're gonna rotate first through the base of the spine at the hips. I'm engaging my abs as well, really rolling them in, stacking my vertebrae one on the top the other, from the base to the top. I interlace my palms, and I'm going to press straight up towards the sky. Keep my posture as upright as I can. Looking straight ahead, not back bending. Let's let the arms sweep down to the side. Okay, here we'll take our first water break. If we haven't already done so, again, no judgment. Okay, so here, we're going to bring our yoga mats off to the side for now. Let's get into some standing balancing techniques as well as some striking. Now, this class based in martial arts, calisthenics, and a bit of yoga as well as Budokan flow movement, okay? And here, what I'm going to do is position myself to a bit more of an upright position. So you can see more of my body in an upright position. Okay, so here I'm going to bring my feet slightly wider than hips width apart. And bringing my hands to my head, we're just going to go throw some strikes with our arms. But of course, even just saying that through my arms, I want to make sure that everyone knows that they don't come solely from my arms. Okay, my base, my source of energy comes from the ground, where I just came from. So from here, it's another reason why I like to start from the ground as well, so we can get nice and assimilated with it. So here with my feet, okay, I'm going to raise my heel each time that I strike. So what I would like to show is in that same position, my foot not only raises, but turns, rotates, not just my foot, but my hip as well. I want to punch here, going from left to right. Some of us have seen this already, so I want to keep the mindset, everyone that has seen this before, thoughts of keeping protection with one and striking with the other. And notice how my heel raises and turns in the opposite direction in which I'm punching. My punch, square fist, slight bend in the elbow, and I rotate towards extension rather than lean towards extension. Okay, from there I lose a bit of balance. Okay. Part of what movements is a loss of balance and a regaining of balance. Not too different than walking itself. I want to explore what this feels like, what this awakens and opens in our bodies. So we twist the hips, perhaps lower back begins to awaken a bit, the hips, how the thigh bone connects to the hips. There's all things to visualize within our physiology. I protect with one, and I throw with the other. And time. From here, what I want to do is just a series of balances and kicks. So I'm going to face laterally, just for a better vantage point, a better viewpoint for everyone. What I want to do is I want to kick forward and balance backwards. So keeping both hands to my head, arms to my body as well. So you see a bit of a frame, right? It looks like the letter V, my arms. So I can protect two things at once here, okay? And then from the side or from in front, looks more like the letter A. So just something to kind of jog our memories on it. I want to start with my feet neutral. I'm going to raise my knee into my chest. Inhale, and then exhale, kick forward. As I kick forward, I'm going to lean back. Okay, now as I lean back, I'm going to exhale, inhale as I draw it back in. I'm here bouncing on that same foot. I want to kick back while reaching forward. Now, as I reach forward, both hands reach forward as only one leg kicks back. Okay, here for my warrior 3. Reach back. Trying to keep my hips and shoulders as square as possible as I kick back and reach forward. And here I bring it back in. Inhale, kick forward. Inhale, kick back. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, that'll be the motion. We're going to go through each leg, each step of the way. So we'll switch in between each round. So here, hands are up. I raise up, draw my knee into my chest as though it's the air itself. So I draw my knee in, draw my breath in, and exhale. Lean back just to counterbalance the kick. Inhale. Exhale. And here, if we stop here, or we stop here, or we stop here. Either one of those positions is fine. Let's make sure that we are moving, we are keeping our movement within each one and just keeping calm in our breathing without judgment. Inhale. Exhale. And draw it back in. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Just a few, but we're all saying left and right each time we go. Okay, so yeah, just turning my alerts off here, in case anyone saw that. Production is never perfect, right? But we find our own perfection through acceptance of ourselves, right? So from here, I raise up and in. Right foot up, right foot forward. Right foot back in, right foot backwards. Reach forward. Exhale. Inhale, draw it all back in, and I lower. Opposite foot. Inhale up. Exhale, forward. As I kick forward, I want to notice here, the ball of my foot being exposed, not just my foot totally pointing, but my toes are flexed. So I expose the ball of the foot for my kick. Inhale back in, and exhale, kick back. Inhale. Exhale, down. Inhale up. Exhale, kick forward. Inhale. Exhale, kick back, reach forward. Hit shoulders square with the ground. Feel free. Just a bit more comforting for you, right? Or a bit more utilitarian. I'm going to reach forward with my palms together, my fingers interlace to this pistol grip. Here, we just keep the head in between the arms while looking forward. Toes facing down on the back foot, heel facing up. Rechamber. That means I'm bringing my foot back towards my sit bone. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Switch. Inhale up. Exhale, kick forward. Keep the hands to the head, lean back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale up. Now here, we found the cadence. We found the rhythm. Here we find a bit of discomfort here. Just giving ourselves the opportunity while we can in the here and now. No judgment. to go through as powerfully as we can, despite the discomfort. No comparison to myself, future, past, or others. Winning each moment powerfully within my own actions. And time. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves a sip of water. We'll come back in just a few moments. Okay, so from here, I want to go ahead and adjust my standing position. So I'll go ahead and angle back down towards the ground. In the meantime, just show my foot position. Okay, so if I happen to favor my right side, okay, this would be my right side. I'm going to turn my right foot 45 degrees towards the right and slide that foot back to a point in which diagonal with my other foot. So if I were to look at my feet as though they were hands on a clock, it would be about 2 o'clock, okay? And this is, of course, relative. It's more so a guide than a rule, okay? Some, right, depending on our dimensions, our balances, maybe our feet will be a little bit closer together, which I don't recommend. Us getting too close as though we're on a skateboard. Of course, I don't want to be too wide either because I don't have the best mobility from that position. So I'm still keeping my feet relatively hips width apart. Again, finding no perfection except that my actions, me being, giving the best that I can within my capabilities at this moment. Okay, so now that we see the foot position, we can also use our knees as a guide to wherever my knees are pointing, that's where my toes should be pointing as well. Okay, so from that position, I bring myself into that same arm position as well. Hands up, arms towards the body. There's a happy medium between the two, okay? I can't totally bring my hands up because from there, I'm not protecting my core, my organs, right? My core organs. But if I bring my arms too low, then I'm not protecting that one functioning organ, right? Probably arguably the most important one, right? They're all pretty important, okay? So from here, I'm going to go into a series of punches and kicks. Not too different than the kick we just went into. Okay, so here comes my jab and my cross. This is also an opportunity for us to speed up and find out what that does for our balance. Okay, as we begin to explore our balance a bit more, we lose our balance, but over time we gain that balance through the loss of balance. Okay, not too different than when we perambulated, we walked. As kids, we fell down a few times, right? But through that muscle memory, we learned eventually how to walk. Okay, so let's go ahead and grow forward. I'm going to go ahead and throw same punches left and right. But here when I throw my right, it's in a more staggered position and behind me. So I raise again my heel, just like I did both feet earlier, right? Raise and turn that heel, okay? Notice how my knees facing 45. Now when I punch, facing straight ahead, just like the punch that I threw, okay? As I throw that foot, or I bring that hand back, other one comes forward. Hand protects the head, arm protects the body. Exhale on the strike. We're a bit new to this. You can go ahead and stick with this as I get more detail onto it. But for those that aren't, I'm going to go into my kicks as well. So here, 2 punches, starting with my left and my right. Then my right front kick. And I want to draw it back in and back to the same position. From there, I throw my right hand, my left hand. Simply keeping my weight on my right foot, okay? Not stepping forward with it, not stepping back with it, I'm shifting my weight from my left foot to my right foot so I can lighten my left, raise my knee, kick forward, and from here, just like I did with my right, I'm gonna bring my arm down. Just for that moment in time to help, again, counterbalance the actual strike itself. Side view, left, right kick. Right, left kick. Shifting my weight, kicking forward while leaning back, okay? Each time getting my position with balance. Now let's take each challenge as it can be, right? If I have good balance, right? Good extension, here we're gonna get into a little bit more speed, testing our balance, okay? For those that have a bit more challenge with the balance, let's go ahead and challenge that by going slower, okay? Especially with the kicks, okay? Because our feet is how we are grounded onto the ground. So once we're on one, of course, that's going to significantly compromise our balance. Jab, cross. My jab to my lead. My cross comes across my body for my rear. Nice. And then from here, back. Always return to that same position. Left, right. Right, left. Left, right. Right, left. Shift the weight. Left, right. You're still protecting the hand, protecting the head with the hand, and protecting the body with the arm. You may notice there would be a slight pivot in the foot, right? Slight pivot. Notice my knee turns out, so does my foot when I throw this kick. It gives the hips a bit more extension, so feel free to allow yourself to go into that. But here we just make sure we turn back as we return to our original position. Okay, now let's go ahead and start picking up the speed a bit. Still keeping that balance. Hitting with the balls of the feet. Again, find the breath within each movement as well. My feet slightly closed, allowing a bit more resistance so the impact has that much more significance. 2 punches, followed by the same side kick. Right punch, right arm counterbalances down for the right kick coming up. Chamber and kick. Okay, for the last few, those for the brave, let's go ahead and raise the heel off of the ground each time we throw those kicks as well. And time. Okay, let's go ahead and grab another sip of water. Okay, so here, I'm going to return to a bipedal position. Sorry, from bipedal to quadrupedal. Okay, so how do I return from standing to the ground? Okay, so many different ways. I can simply just come down to the ground, just put my hands on the ground. Suddenly I'm a quadruped. Okay, but here I want to get into my technical stand-up, also known as my combat base in martial arts, okay, or my standing base rather. So here in my standing base, come down. Here I touch palm to the ground, and I raise the same side foot off of the ground, and I thread that leg in between both my otherwise grounded limbs. Okay, so I'm keeping my hand to my head, and not too different than my punches, I kick to the side. So here I raise up and kick through, not behind, but through. From here, toe and heel face east-west. Again, my knees an indicator of which direction my toes are facing, so my knees facing straight towards you, so are my toes. My foot is flexed, I hit with the heel, as well as the midfoot, and I raise up to that same position best I can. But for that moment in time, while I'm coming to a safe and standing position, I want to extend my arm to about the same length that my leg was extended. And I rise back up, exhale. Okay, inhale, we go down, place the other hand to the ground, raise the same side foot up and through, kicking through, and then we rise up. Again, while I extend, this here is my frame, my buffer between myself and my target. So from here, I raise up my base leg, retract my other leg, and extend my other arm while I'm coming to that safe position. Exhale up. Okay, those that know this, continue going at a faster rate, testing our pace. Down. Now finding the presence in each movement as well as the breathing, right? Inhale as I lower down. And then through my powerful moves, right? I exhale. Again, let's try and keep a slight bend in those limbs, right? We don't want to totally straighten out, especially as a novice here, compromising the joints in any way. So keep that slight bend, okay? So there's still a bit of room for follow through. But more importantly, also keep that shoulder above the wrist, okay? We won't want to start coming here. It leaves ourselves too long to imbalance. Definitely don't want to be here. We'll fall backwards on our heads. Here, raise up. My hips are low, but my posture's upright. Still going all the while. Down. From grounded to standing. Always coming back to that protected position each time for self-preservation. Begin to start picking up the pace more. Or for those that already had a slow pace, begin to slow down. Find intention with each movement. Just a few more. One of my old Budokan teachers would tell me, our speed often hides our deficiencies. So it's important to slow down and be intentional in our movements. Being mindful. each movement. And time. Okay, we can grab another sip of water if we need. Let's go ahead and put these yoga mats back down. We're going to place ourselves along the long way. Let's come back into our Seiza position. Here we allow ourselves to find different sensations now. Right, a bit warm here. Maybe some things have loosened up a bit. Any tightnesses, top of the feet to the mat. And hands one atop the other, palms facing up, spine is upright. Again, relax my facial muscles, slight tilt forward of the head. And even close the eyes for this moment in time. Find our breath. And through our breath, find our presence. And recognizing those tricky thought disturbances, just creep in. Again, not placing any judgment on them. Could be an important task that we have, or one that we've been ignoring. Again, placing no judgment on that, just recognizing it for what it's worth, and just setting that aside, letting it go for this moment. As this moment, this moment, this moment is the only one we have. Okay, now we just go ahead and open our eyes. We have them closed. And again, let's shift back into our tabletop position. Hands just beneath the shoulders. Again, press the top of the feet to the mat actively. Okay, here for our cat-cows. Here I want to bring the back up towards the sky with my exhalation. Chin to chest, not just the upper back, not just the mid back, but also rotating the hips back, engaging the core for that cat. Then we drop down the belly to the cow. Inhale as the head rises up, and back to the cat. All the while finding the presence and grounding in with all four corners of the hands, fingers evenly splayed, even those thumbs. Straighten out the thumbs. And the tops of the feet press into the mat. Trying our best to bring our shins down towards the mat. Keep those arms nice and straight. Now we'll come back to neutral hips. From here, let's go ahead and bring ourselves into plank position. So I'm going 1 foot, other foot, plank position. Okay, here we're going to push back for a down dog. I want to raise right leg up, straight up towards the sky. Best I can, up, 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 up. And then bring that foot outside of my right hand for a lunge. Head is up, hips are down. Nice, let's go ahead and bring it back. Kicking straight up. And lower down to its original position. Down dog. Nice, raise the left. Straight up, straight up, straight up. Keep the structure in the spine. Arms are still straight. And bring that left foot just outside the left hand. Heads up, hips are down. And we bring it back. Taking straight up, 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 up. Press back, head in between the arms, hips and shoulders neutral, and lower bending point. Ball the foot to the ground. Here I'm going to rest my knees, rest my feet. Let's come back into that child's pose. Here I bring my knees apart, press my hips towards my heels. And from there, lower my chest between my legs and begin to walk the fingers forward. And here, let's find relaxation. And acceptance. And allowing for yourself to be in this present moment. And this present moment. As is always recreated through our breathing. Now let's return to our Seiza position. Toss the feet to the ground. You can keep the eyes closed or open, whatever more powerful for you, more relaxing for you, more present for you. You can find that breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Allow that air to course through the lungs and thereby throughout your entire being. Free of judgment, any criticisms of myself or others. I move powerfully forward through body, mind, and spirit. Thank you again. Allow me to invite you to Win the Weekends and welcome to Mind Movements series. And we'll be seeing you again, hopefully on Wednesday, where we can win the day on Wednesday. Thank you and enjoy your weekend.